Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do beer stuff here. Voodoo. I know I have reviewed a Voodoo beer before, but it has been a very long time. This is their Pennsylvania Porridge. It's a barrel-aged. Come on now. Barrel-aged oatmeal porter. 6%. Okay. I didn't look at the ABV when I picked this up. I saw barrel-aged porter. I thought it'd be higher in ABV. Yeah, Voodoo Brewing, they're a weird brewery in the sense that they're out of, I believe their home base is Erie, Pennsylvania. They've expanded wildly throughout Pennsylvania, but through mostly like franchise opportunities. Like they opened a Voodoo Brewing in Scranton, which is I live very close to, and I was excited. So they did a barrel-aged release. I'll open this while I'm talking, which would make sense. They did a barrel-aged release or posted it on their regular thing. It's like, oh, these are going to be available in Scranton. People are like, nah. They're like, you won't get anything like that anywhere but the core locations, because I guess it's like a franchised opportunity. Like you just basically buy a location and they provide you beer, something along those lines. I'm probably screwing that up in some form or fashion, but I went to like a local distributor in Pennsylvania. That's not super far from me. I never go there, and I just saw this, and I was like, hey, it was $10. It was a barrel-aged porter. Again, 6% is kind of weird, but yeah, let's dive into it. What else do we have on this bottle here? It says brewed and bottled by Voodoo Brewing Company, Meadville, PA. I'm pretty sure that's where they're from, and I think that's like literally Erie. Ingredients: water, barley, oats, hops, and yeast. Actually, do dig the label design on this. So you're talking about 6% barrel-aged porter. That's kind of just a weird oatmeal porter. Just a weird ABV to be barrel-aging stuff. Like when you see 6% barrel-aged stuff, it's typically like oak-aged lager or something along those lines. But a 6% porter, we're here for it. We'll dig it. And honestly, it looks beautiful. It has a rich, dark head to it. Darker than what I like my coffee to look like color-wise. As far as the beer goes, I mean, it is dark and thick. 6% porter, figured you'd glean a decent amount of light through that sucker. You cannot. So definitely looks the part of a nice, rich, big, thick barrel-aged beer, albeit 6% barrel-aged porter. So let's see if we can get a nose on this sucker. That smells awesome. You tell me, you give this to me blind, I think this is a barrel-aged beer that's pushing double digits. Minimum. Big, nice, rich chocolate on the nose, just huge. That oatmeal portion of the show marrying really, really nice with those darker malts, giving you this kind of semi-sweet chocolate, kind of slightly milk chocolate with a little bit of kind of like coconut marshmallow vibes. The barrel's starting to come into play here. A little bit of spirit on top of that sucker, maybe a little roasty toastiness akin to a coffee, but not necessarily all the way there. Again, 6% barrel-aged beer. You're not expecting a nose like this, and you're getting something hyper robust, getting something that's much, much bigger than what you'd expect at this ABV level. I'm here for it, man. This is a pretty damn sexy nose for something that is only 6%. Again, keeping in mind it's barrel aged, but still 6%. Man, that smells really good. Yeah, rich. A little bit of booziness on there, too. 6%. You wouldn't think you'd get there. Not gonna lie to you. Didn't know it was 6% when I grabbed it. When I read it, I got a little disappointed, so trending downhill. Now in the aromatics, getting very, very excited for this. So let's see where the sucker lands. Cheers, y'all. That's good. It really is. You know it's a 6% barrel-aged beer. This spirit is taking a front seat here as far as impact. I would venture to say this beer is 6% alcohol by volume. I think it might go up 1% or so based on being in what I assume is a decently wet barrel. The biggest thing to fall off here, and especially if you take the beer at its core, being an oatmeal stout, the first thing that comes into mind when I think of oatmeal stout is the lush, full mouthfeel. You're getting something that is a bit fallen off from that, a bit thinner. So that's probably the biggest kind of trade-off there. That barrel aging on such a low ABV beer, when you're expecting something that has a nicer, fuller mouthfeel to it, you're just not getting it here. But outside of that, those chocolate bits and pieces definitely come through. Not nearly as sweet as you think it'd be based off on the nose. It doesn't have that sweet or semi-sweet chocolate. It's a little bit more baker's chocolate, a little bit of sweet on top of that. Get a bit of roasted malts on there. You're getting a decent amount of barrel on this, a nice little roasty toastiness, a nice little barrel char on there, a little bit of vanilla vibes, that kind of coconut and all those bigger, kind of more complex flavors have fallen off a little bit, but they're still kind of there. And then probably the biggest star of the show here is a spirit, is that bourbon. It comes off as a fresher, younger bourbon, but you're definitely getting a pop of bourbon on this sucker that shows this really kind of like aggressive barrel aging for something that's so low in ABV. I think that's the thing. More often than not, when you have these lower ABV-ish kind of beers, it's usually the beer. It's such minimal barrel aging involved that you barely get any kind of barrel. You barely get any kind of spirit. It's almost like I want this to be 9%, and I think it would play for a little bit different, better of beer. But I think this is a really cool like experiment of barrel aging of lower ABV beer. Not that I haven't had barrel aged low ABV beer. I've had barrel aged non-alcoholic beer, but they rarely have this kind of flip and impact. Rarely does the barrel hold up and the spirit hold up this big on top of the beer. The beer's there. It's not lost. You still know you're drinking a nice kind of low ABV porter. Again, the oatmeal portion of the show kind of falls a little bit by the wayside due to the, I think, just aggressiveness of the barrel and beer. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a cool experiment, especially for low ABV. Listen, I grabbed a bomber for a tenner. I'm cool with it. You know, and it's a fun twist on something that I thought was going to be a little bit more kind of boilerplate. I thought it was going to be like, I didn't read the ABV. I thought it was going to be like 10% porter and barrel aging and all kinds of fun stuff. But that kind of curveball of having that low ABV beer in there makes for a really cool experiment and a fun beer. I'm not going to sit here and say this is one of the barrel aged beers that I've had as of late or one of the better porters I've had as of late. But as far as barrel aging and the experience of having barrel aging and tasting that in different kind of levels of kinds of beer and ABVs, it's a very cool beer, and I'm glad I picked it up. Let's put it that way. So yeah, there you go. Did they put a date on this sucker? I wonder if they did. I wonder if this has a little bit of time on it too. That could be a thing. No. I'm sure I could look it up, but we're not going to. So yeah, there you go. Is this one of the better barrel-aged beers I've had as of late? It's not Mount Rushmore status. Valued, one of the better porters. Everything is going to be, valued availability off the shelf, regional distributor shelf, so that kind of makes sense. They have a bunch there if you're interested. I'll let you know where to pick it up. Tenner, I think it was, and leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like low ABV beers and want to have this kind of fun melange of flavors, then you'll dig this. Voodoo, have you been to the brewery? Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer? All that fun stuff down there. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of low ABV barrel aged goodness right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers, y'all.